We therefore shall now reallocate the resources necessary to deal with the threat. Germany doesn't understand. They're playing a game they can't win. Russia will blow Germany off the face of the map. The Russians have not forgotten what Germany was. And you now have Peskov saying Germany is becoming an enemy again. And if Germany wants to be an enemy, Russia knows how to deal with enemies. Hey, Typhoon, let me introduce you to Oreshnik. Russians are producing more Oreshniks than the Germans will have access to Typhoons. And Germany will disappear in a sea of conventional fire and explosion. There won't even be nuclear weapons involved. It'll just be the end of Germany. The Russians aren't playing games. They are building over 1,000 uranium drones, Shahed 136 modifications, a day. A day, 1,000 a day. And they're going to be firing 1,000 a day into Ukraine. Germany wants to play a game. Guess what, Germany? You don't have enough Patriot air defense systems. You don't have enough Iris-Ts. You don't have enough anything. When Russia decides to flood the zone with 5,000 drones in a day, your entire country goes bye-bye. And then they're going to hit you with Oreshniks. They're going to hit you with Calibers. They're going to hit you with all the other hypersonics that they have out there. The Germans are just stupid. They really are stupid. I mean, we've been watching the rebirth, the Fourth Reich being born for some time now. I've been worrying about it. It's real. These morons are out there. The only good news is that Merz isn't Adolf Hitler. He has no political viability or sustainability, and the German military is just a bunch of academic nobodies. I mean, this isn't the German the Wehrmacht. There was that 100,000 man army during the Weimar Republic of all World War I, hand-picked World War I veterans, all officers that became the cadre of the Wehrmacht, and it grew into. The Bundeswehr is full of schnitzel-eating, beer-drinking, fat idiots who don't know anything about war, don't know how to train, haven't put a 90-pound ruck on their back at height, in anger, and they don't know what they're doing. Now, could they transform into something? Of course, but where's their defense industry? Other than a handful of Rheinmetall making some money, they can't produce a lot of tanks. They can't produce a lot. They've deindustrialized. In order to get where Germany wants to go, they got to spend money they don't have, and they have to get an economy that doesn't function to support a defense industry that doesn't exist. So it's all talk. But at some point in time, their words are going to result in some sort of limited action that's going to trigger Russia. And Russia, I can guarantee you, isn't talk. Russia doesn't want war. But my God, if the Germans want to bring it on, there ain't going to be nothing to make the Russians happier than putting the stake through the heart of this stupidity, this German defense minister, this German chancellor who talks about, Germany's going to do it again, but do it right this time. What does that mean, do it right this time? That means you don't regret doing what you did. The only thing you regret is that you got beat. That it would all been okay had Germany won the war. You don't regret anything. You don't regret the Holocaust. You don't regret slaughtering Jews. You don't regret the whole Lebensraum policy you had against the Russians. The Germans, had they been left to their own volition, would have captured all of Russia up to the Ural Mountains, depopulated, that means killed them, millions, tens of millions, and then enslaved the rest. That was doing it right, according to the Germans are a sick society. I hate to say it, but the fact of the matter is, Franklin Roosevelt had it right during the Quebec Conference of 1943. Churchill said that when this war is over, Germany has to be converted into an agrarian society. They can never again be allowed to have access to industry because this is going to happen. Everything that's happening right now was predicted back then because the Germans are a sick society. There's something wrong with the Germans fundamentally. Tell me I'm wrong, listen to their statements. The fact that you have a German chancellor and a German defense minister making these statements and that millions of Germans aren't in the streets saying, never again, not in our name, that will not happen. Instead, they sit there like the compliant good Germans are. Oh, we don't know what to do, but our arms keep twitching because we want to do something, but we don't know what we want to do. You know what you want to do because you're all Nazis at heart. Scratch a German, get a Nazi. This is the fact. Just it's playing out in front of us. Playing out in front of us. But, Pistorius and Merz, they're trying to create something, this Fourth Reich. It should scare the hell out of everybody. It should scare the hell out of the Americans. I mean, it's not just the Russians that, paid a price. We went to war against them too. Yes, we are to blame for the rise of the Fourth Reich. We're the ones that worked with the Germans. Study the history at the end of World War II and what happened to the Wehrmacht. And study what happened to the generals. Everybody talks about the Nuremberg trials. Nuremberg trials, we showed them Nazis. We didn't show them anything. The Nuremberg trials were a setup. It was a con. They did the high-profile trials of the big Nazi leaders. When it came to the generals, they whitewashed the whole thing. It was done with led by Donovan, who was the head of the OSS, precursor to the CIA, working with John McCloy, Truman's handpicked German, overseer, Dwight D. Eisenhower. They made a decision from the start to whitewash the Nazi crimes of the Wehrmacht. German generals were captured as they were tasked by Donovan, who was the head of the OSS, to write their history, but write it the way they want the world to perceive the German army as a good army. And they used that to color the defense in the Nuremberg trials. Seidel, who ended up being the first German general to become commander in the new expanded NATO in 1955, 10 years after he was a Nazi. He was put on trial along with 20 other generals. They were found guilty of war crimes, killing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of civilians in Norway, in Greece, in France, and all the occupied zones. He, Seidel, was responsible, found guilty, sentenced to 20 years, didn't serve a day. Why? Well, because he, along with the others, whitewashed their history. He wrote a book, Invasion 1944, about the Normandy invasion from the perspective of the Germans, making it look as if the Germans were simply doing honorable military work, fighting. This was the campaign, and we were military people, ignoring the fact that while that was happening, the troops he commanded were slaughtering French civilians for the crimes that he ended up being held accountable for. They're all dirty. Every single German armed officer, every general soldier was dirty. They committed the crimes, especially against Russia. This is why the Russians will never forget. You have Halder, who was the chief of staff of the German armed forces. In 1941, he signed the Commissar Order. What the Commissar Order is, that you capture a political commissar, a member of the Communist Party, every unit had one, you kill him on the spot. Kill him on the spot. Then the Communist Order, kill them all. Von Manstein escaped it because he signed an order that said, we won't implement this. And everybody went, well, good, look, he's not a, no, read the rest of the print. We won't implement because it slows down our advance too much. Gather them all together and send them to the rear and let the other people kill them. It's not that he said we're not going to do this because we're good Germans. He just said it slows us down. Let's get them to the back and let them kill them all. He had no problem with killing them. He just didn't want to do it up front. Every single German officer was bad, and yet this is what became the Bundeswehr. The Nazi army was restructured to become the Bundeswehr as part of NATO. And they've been hiding in the shadows ever since. And now they're coming out. This is the reality of Germany today. It is the Fourth Reich. It's the scariest thing that's happened in Europe in a long time. And if it doesn't get nipped in the bud, we're going to be looking at another European war where Germany is at the heart of it. Germany is not the friend of the United States. Germany is only the friend of Germany. That's something people need to pay close attention to going forward. Germany is the threat.